everybody, in today's video I want to share with you guys some awesome soup recipes using the slow cooker. I absolutely love using soup recipes, but they're even better when they're in the slow cooker. They are like a no mess, no fuss type of a meal. So let me share with you some of my favorite soup recipes using my crock pot. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to start off with is a barbecue chicken chili, and this is something very new for me and my family. I have never tried anything like this before. I'm going to lightly spray my crock pot, and then I'm going to add about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast and then drizzle a little bit of olive oil right on top of that, 2 tablespoons of garlic, and then 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I added 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, or if you don't have apple cider vinegar, any type of vinegar will do. And then 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and then 2 teaspoons of chili powder. And then 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and then I diced and chopped up 1 small onion, or if you want to do like half of an onion. It was very oniony, if that's a word. So if you want to do, just do like half of an onion, and that would probably be about the right amount. You're going to need 1/2 cup of ketchup, and trust me guys, you want to add the ketchup. I know it seems weird, but you definitely just want to go ahead and trust the process on this one. And then you'll need 2 teaspoons of mustard. Any type of mustard will do. We're also going to add in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, or however you want to say the sauce. I used to say whatsoever sauce for a while. I don't know how to say it. And then we need 2 teaspoons of liquid smoke. I like to add 1 can of green chilies. Usually I just do the mild one just because I'm feeding a bunch of kids. And then I need 1 can of kidney beans, 1 can of chili beans, and 1 can of cannellini beans or navy beans. The recipe called for about 14.5 ounces of chicken broth, or like a can of chicken broth. I just had some homemade one, and I actually used 2 cups, which I felt like is a very reasonable amount for the chicken and bean ratio. I put this on low and let it cook for 5 hours. Once it was done cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and shred up that chicken, and the chicken is very tender, ready to go ahead and shred up. Now that my chicken is all shredded, I'm just going to place it back into my crock pot and give it a good mixaroo. I'm also going to add in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and with 2 tablespoons of water, and kind of making this cornstarch slurry. That way we can kind of thicken up our soup just a little bit. If you want to do it before and add it with your chicken broth, that's what the recipe calls to do. I usually like to kind of wait it out and see how much I'm going to need, because I can always add more, but I can't take away. Here I'm just adding 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with the 2 tablespoons of water, giving it a good mix. I feel like that's a really good ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and plate it up, and then we had ours with some tortilla chips. To me, this was more of like a Southwest type of like a barbecue chili, so we really enjoyed it with some tortilla chips. Up next is a white chicken chili, and we love this soup. We have it all of the time. So at the bottom of my crock pot, I'm going to go ahead and spray it. And then I have about 3 chicken breasts, which is about 1.5 pounds of chicken. And then I need 1 ranch seasoning packet, just put right on top of that. Then I need 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, And then I need 1 can of corn that I did not drain. I need a cup of water. And then I added 1 can of black beans, 1 can of Rotel, or I just have like this off-brand of chili, green chilies and tomatoes. And then 1 can of cannellini beans, 1 package of cream cheese, putting that right on top. And then put the lid on. I let this cook on high for about 4 hours. All right, now that the 4 hours is up, I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a good mix. Just wanna make sure that that cream cheese is nice and melted and stirred through properly. And for cream cheese, it really doesn't matter if you do off-brand or name brand, because in soups like this, it's gonna cook and it'll stir properly and it won't be like bumpy or anything like that. Sometimes when you have those off-brand cream cheeses, they can kind of be like bumpy, or they won't stir properly, I guess. And so but it's totally fine with this type of soup, and this is what it's looking like. I just topped it with some cheese, and you guys can do like sour cream or whatever and have it with some tortilla chips. That is delicious as well. Next is this hearty chicken and potato soup. So to the bottom of my crock pot, I'm going to put 3 chicken breasts, or about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of chicken. And then I need 1 onion, 3 pounds of russet potatoes, or I actually did like these Yukon Golds just because they're my favorite, but yes, 3 pounds. You're going to need it to help thicken up the soup. And then I did about 1.5 tablespoons of garlic, 2 cups of carrots, 2 cups of celery, and then 8 cups of chicken broth. I just did like chicken bouillon and then water. And then also I had this on hand, so I went ahead and used this up as well. So I did 4 cups of chicken bouillon and water, and then I did 4 cups of the chicken broth in one of these containers, because one container is going to give you 4 cups. And then I needed about 1 teaspoon of parsley, 2 teaspoons of thyme, and then I'm just giving this a good mix, trying to get that seasoning kind of mixing with the broth. And then I'm going to put the lid on, and I let this cook on low for 8 hours, or you can also do high for 4 hours. Alright, and once it's done cooking, I just took the chicken out and went ahead and shredded it up. This was probably the most moist and tender chicken out of all the recipes that I have in this video. It just came out so tender, so I really enjoyed that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shred it, and then also once I'm done shredding it, which I didn't really record, but I did go ahead and puree the soup just a little bit, because I want to mush up those potatoes to thicken up the soup. I mean, you could definitely add some cornstarch and water, but that's just the way I did it. I also added 4 slices of bacon that I went ahead and chopped up, added that to the soup mix, and this is what it's looking like. So delicious. It's a very hearty and delicious and healthy type of a soup. It was so good. Also, just in case you were wondering where I got my platters at that I had my chicken and bacon on, you can get them on Amazon. I recently purchased them and they are absolutely amazing. I love them. I especially love them for salads and pastas. They are awesome, but they're also great for shredding up my chicken or anything that you have juice in that you don't want to necessarily use a plate for. I will leave it linked in my description box if you guys are interested in them. I love them, and I just wanted to pass the word along to you guys. This is what my soup is looking like. It is oh so delicious. It's very fun and healthy, hearty type of a meal. Up next is chicken and wild rice, and this was our favorite soup that we made throughout this whole video. It is so good. You are going to need 1 pound of chicken, and I just placed at the bottom of my crock pot. I'm also going to need 3 diced carrots, half of an onion, 1 cup of celery. You're going to need about 6 cups of chicken broth, or what I did was I had some beef broth that I needed to use up that was in my fridge. So I used up the 4 cups right here, and then I added 2 cups of water, but definitely you guys can add beef broth or you can add chicken broth. It really doesn't matter. And then I need a cup of wild rice that we're just going to add right to our crock pot. 2 teaspoons of parsley, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of salt, and definitely want to add more salt than that, just because it needed way more salt. And then about 1.5 teaspoons of pepper, and then put the lid on. And then let this cook on a high heat for 4 to 5 hours, or on low for about 8 hours. And then once it's done cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the chicken. And then we're going to go ahead and shred that up like normal. And then before we put it back in, we're actually going to be making like a cream sauce, just to kind of thicken it up and make it more on the creamy side. Into a medium saucepan, I have 4 tablespoons of butter that I'm going to go ahead and melt down. And then I have 3 tablespoons of flour, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix that together and whisk it until it is well combined. Once it has thickened up, I'm going to add 2 cups of half and half, and then we're just going to whisk that through, and then you're just going to whisk it until it is nice and thick. Once it is nice and thick, we're going to go ahead and add that to our crock pot. So you see my crock pot, and I'm adding, it's pretty thick, so that's about the mixture and the thickness that we're going to want. So I'm going to add that first, and then we will add in our chicken and give that a good stir. And then this is going to be completely done and ready to consume. You guys, you are going to love this meal. It was our favorite. We absolutely loved it. We did have to add just like a little bit more salt to ours, but this was good. We actually paired ours with like some homemade bread. It was absolutely perfect. This is great for like the winter time, just a really great hearty and like a wintertime meal when it's super cold out. If you guys could do me a huge kindness and like this video and subscribe if you have not already, that would extremely help my channel out. And give me a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, and let me know what you do like and what you don't like, and which one of these recipes you plan on making from this video. Up next is a corn and ham chowder. This is one of my favorite like go-tos for soups. So to the bottom of my crock pot, you want to make sure that it's sprayed and ready to go. I added 3 russet potatoes, and then I have 1 cup of carrots, a half of an onion, and then I'm actually going to need 4 cans of corn. I definitely suggest adding 2 cans of cream corn, 2 cans of regular corn. I just felt like it was a little bit much on the corn, but it was still delicious anyways. I also added 1 whole container of chicken broths, or just 4 cups of chicken broth. And then I added 2 teaspoons of parsley, and then 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I just gave this a little bit of a stir. I just wanted to get that seasoning kind of mix in. And then the recipe doesn't call for any water, but I just wanted all my vegetables to be submerged in water before cooking it. So I added 1 cup of water, and then I let that cook on high for about 4 hours. And then to this measuring cup, I just added 3 tablespoons of butter, and then went ahead and melted it. And now I have 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to give that a good stir because we are going to try and thicken up our soup quite a bit. I also have 1 can of evaporated milk, giving that a good stir, and then we'll add this to the crock pot after it's all stirred through properly. And now that our soup is all done cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and add in that evaporated milk mixture. I'm also gonna add in 1 cup of diced up ham. All right, and once you get everything stirred through properly, this is what it's gonna look like. It is so, so good. And I even thickened mine just a little bit more than what I showed you, just because we kind of like our soups normally more on the thicker side, but it's completely up to you. But I just like to add a little bit of cornstarch at a time and kind of go from there. But this was oh so good, definitely delicious, and a really yummy and hearty, delicious meal. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. I have tons of other videos just like this on my channel, so make sure you check out another video if you enjoyed this type of content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, y'all.